The gospel for today, my dear friends, is taken from Matthew chapter 23, verses 1 to 12. Now, suppose you have a mother or a father, parents, who talk and talk about morality, who talk about, obedience, not wasting money, not wasting time. And then at night, I still remember one dad who was saying to his son, who loved to exaggerate things. The old man was very angry, called for the son, and he said, "Hey, come here. How many times have I told you? How many millions and millions and billions of times have I told you not to exaggerate?" So you see, suppose you have parents like this, who tell you rather good things and, telling you not to do this, not to do that. Yet, for example, there was a parent I know, a couple who would say, "Don't waste money, be careful about money, spend it thriftily and wisely." And then they would say, "Okay, stay here, take your dinner, and your dad and I will go out." "Where are you going, Mom, Dad?" "We're going out to the casino." What do you do with that? How do you deal with that? Okay? This is a case of people who are teaching things, yet they don't practice what they preach. They don't practice what they preach. It's the same dilemma that the Jews had before. And they presented it to Jesus. This dilemma, because their religious leaders were saying something but doing something else. All right. So Jesus spoke to the crowds and to his disciples this parable. Scribes and the Pharisees have taken their seat on the chair of Moses. Yes, they have authority. Therefore, do and observe all things whatsoever they tell you. Well, if the things that they're saying are good and you really appreciate its goodness and its sensibility and logic, then obey. Anyway, it's according to the law of Moses. But, Jesus says, do not follow their example. For they preach, but they do not practice. They tie up heavy burdens hard to carry, but lay them on people's shoulders. They will not lift up a finger to move them. All their works are performed to be seen. So what Jesus is saying is, do not imitate them. So it's the difference between the action and the words. The words, okay. The words are okay. But what they do may not be okay. So, as far as you're concerned, be so discerning enough to know which is the word and the action. Don't look at the action, look at the word. Because sometimes, even myself, I teach, I tell people what to do, but actually I myself will find it difficult to do it. As they say in English, better said than done. And it's natural. Even in terms of morality, even in terms of moral actions, it's the same. It's easy to say it, it's easy to command, it's easy to exact obedience from people, but you yourself, sometimes it will be difficult for you to do it. So I think it's natural, but still, how do you go about it? Well, Jesus is very practical, Jesus is very logical, saying, well, listen to what they say, do whatever thing that is good, but their actions, well, don't mind them. What's important is your actions, not their actions. Anyway, they would be accountable to God in the end. It's not you. So don't waste so much time about them. Unless there is some reasons for you to really criticize them, to really put things in order, because somehow their kind of actions are already affecting the collectivity, the society, endangering actually the society. Then you have to you have to criticize, you have to correct them, and tell them, hey, you preach, but you don't do what you preach. But if, in little things, then most probably you don't have to really waste your time on that. But still, we have a responsibility to correct what is wrong, as Jesus is doing here with regards to the Pharisees and the scribes who are hypocrites Hypocrisy means saying one thing but doing another thing.